England is a great place to visit, whether travelers are making their first or umpteenth trip abroad. That's partly because the language barrier isn't there for English speakers, though one can hear languages from throughout the world spoken here. For first-time visitors, we have gathered the top 10 places to visit in the UK. Number 10. London, the UK's all-in-one destination. While it's possible to plan a trip to the UK without visiting London, it's certainly not to be advised. The nation's sprawling capital boasts plenty of attractions to keep you busy. For those interested in learning more about the UK's rich history, one of the top things to do in London is visit the Tower of London, located beside the spectacular Tower Bridge on the banks of the River Thames. This former palace and prison includes highlights such as the iconic 1,000-year-old White Tower, with its fascinating displays of armor and weaponry, and the Jewel House, home of the crown jewels. Fans of Britain's royal family will want to head to Buckingham Palace, London's royal home since Queen Victoria's reign. Here, you can enjoy the colorful pomp and the changing of the guard, or even take a tour of the palace's staterooms. Be sure to book in advance as they're only open for a few weeks each year. The city's Whitehall Road area is another must, where you'll find Big Ben and the Parliament Building, as well as Westminster Abbey, scene of many a royal wedding. Another area to visit in London is South Kensington. Number 9. Edinburgh, Scotland's capital. One of Scotland's most attractive cities, the capital city of Edinburgh, is also one of the UK's most visited destinations. Popular for its many well-preserved historic buildings, Edinburgh is perhaps best known as the home of the majestic Edinburgh Castle. Perched high above the old city on a rocky promontory, this 13th century royal fortress includes highlights such as the famous 1 o'clock salute, held daily at Half Moon Battery, as well as the Scottish crown jewels in the royal palace. Also worth seeing are the Scottish National War Memorial and the famous Stone of Destiny, the Stone of Scone, only returned to Scotland after being held for 700 years in London. From the castle, it's easy to explore the other most important historic sites in the city, most notably the Old Town's Royal Mile, with its fine architecture, boutique shops, cafes, restaurants, and art galleries. It's also where you'll find the splendid old Palace of Holyrood House. Number 8. Roman-era Bath. Although one of the UK's smallest cities, Bath more than makes up for its diminutive size, with a multitude of things to see and do. Named after its famous Roman baths, this beautiful city has been luring visitors to its healing waters for more than 2,000 years. Gushing from 3 hot springs, the water known to consist of 43 different minerals. Hence, its curative properties travels upwards from 3,048 meters at a rate of 275,000 gallons per day, before spilling out at a consistent 46.5 degrees Celsius. While it's not possible to bathe in the original Roman baths, a number of nearby spas, most notably the superb Thermi Bath Spa, offer guests the chance to enjoy the city's famous waters. Number 7. Ancient Stonehenge and medieval Salisbury. One of the planet's oldest World Heritage sites, Stonehenge, has been a place of pilgrimage for more than 4,500 years. It was believed to have been erected as a place of worship, but these days the crowd consists of tourists drawn by the sheer scale of this magnificent monument to mankind's ingenuity. Number 6. Wonderful Windsor. This historic town of Windsor, conveniently located a short train ride west of London, offers plenty of fun things to do for tourists. In addition to its lovely Thames side setting and the many medieval, half-timbered buildings along its quaint old cobblestone laneways, it's also home to spectacular Windsor Castle, the most famous of the UK's royal castles. This grand old castle has served as the summer residence of British royalty for more than a millennium. It was started by William the Conqueror in 1078 and is the world's largest inhabited castle. Highlights include the splendid state apartments containing the Queen's Gallery and Dining Hall, each with magnificently painted ceilings and wood carvings, and St. George's Chapel, famous as the home of the knights and ladies of the Ancient Order of the Garter. Other area attractions worth visiting include Legoland Windsor, a fun family resort set on 150 acres of parkland and just a short bus ride from the town center. Also worth seeing is Royal Ascot, the UK's most famous horse racing venue. Try to time your trip to coincide with the royal meeting held each June. Number 5, idyllic England. The Cotswold and Lake District, covering almost 1,287 square kilometers of pristine countryside. The beautiful Cotswold is undoubtedly one of the most photographed corners of the UK. Located an easy day trip west of London and close to the popular tourist attractions of Bath and Bristol, the Cotswold includes some of the best parts of the countries of Oxfordshire, Gloucestershire, Somerset, Wiltshire, Warwickshire, and Worcestershire. Travelers flock here to experience a true taste of rural English life and to explore its many quaint villages and idyllic pasture lands. One of the most popular ways to do this is via the area's extensive trail network, including the excellent 16-kilometer-long Cotswold Way. Other fun things to do include horseback riding and biking, or simply soaking up the history of popular market towns such as Castle Combe or Techbury. Number 4, medieval York and its Minster. One of northern England's most popular tourist destinations, the medieval city of York, along the ecclesiastical capital of the Church of England, boasts one of the country's most magnificent cathedrals. The country's largest medieval church, York Minster, can trace its roots back to the spread of Christianity in the 3rd century, although the splendid present Gothic structure was built almost 1,000 years later. Highlights of the tour include the opportunity to view its 14th century stained glass windows, plus the richly decorated interiors of the choir and north transept. Also worth a visit is the crypt, which contains parts of the original 11th century church the cathedral now stands on. Other landmarks worth exploring are the ancient city walls. Number 3, the university towns of Cambridge and Oxford. The UK has long been a center of learning, with 2 of the most famous university towns also ranking highly as tourist destinations. An easy commute north of London and just about 128 kilometers apart, Cambridge and Oxford have for centuries been rivals for the title as the country's top academic establishment, a rivalry celebrated during the famous rowing event, the boat race, which takes place each spring on the River Thames. Despite this generally good-spirited rivalry, each location offers plenty of attractions to make them worthwhile additions to your UK travel itinerary. Highlights of a visit to Cambridge include the chance to wander the UK's largest collection of preserved historic buildings, many of them located within an easy walk of Cambridge University's 31 colleges, the oldest of which was founded in 1284. Number 2, Canterbury. Pay a visit to historic Canterbury in Kent, and you'll soon discover why this beautiful city continues to be such a draw for visitors to the UK. An easy hour's train ride from central London or just minutes away from the Eurotunnel, Canterbury has been a draw for pilgrims for more than 1,500 years, ever since St. Augustine first started converting pagan Anglo-Saxons to Christianity here in AD 597. The city's most famous attraction is Canterbury Cathedral, home of the Archbishop of Canterbury. Now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, this stunning cathedral offers plenty to see, from the intricately carved masonry of its exterior to its magnificent interior, a highlight of which is the beautiful choir with its statues of 6 English kings. Also of note are the exquisite miracle windows, dating from the 12th century and depicting scenes from the life of murdered Archbishop Thomas Becket. Afterwards, be sure to spend time wandering the pedestrian area of Old City Canterbury, with its many preserved, historic timber-framed buildings, particularly along Mercury Lane. Number 1. Loch Ness and Inverness. Despite the fact that the legends of mystical monsters have largely been debunked, just don't tell the locals, spectacular Loch Ness remains an extremely popular tourist attraction for travelers heading to Scotland. While it's unlikely you'll encounter any monsters, you will, however, be rewarded with seeing some of the UK's most beautiful scenery. Highlights of Loch Ness include the ruins of Urquhart Castle. Set overlooking the loch, it's one of Scotland's largest fortifications. The current structure dates from the 14th century. For those wanting to learn more about the area's many legends, the Loch Ness Center and exhibition recounts its history, along with that of its monster, including details of ongoing searches for the elusive creature. Do let us know in the comments which one of them you want to visit. Please subscribe to Travel the World. Thanks for watching.